Welcome, Jonathan Rowley, another session of Rowley's Rant. This is tip 10, rounding out this small little series. So this is about trusting your numbers. This is specifically for TV advertising and applies to radio advertising as well. But in TV advertising, you'll see numbers thrown around for, this is your reach, this is how many people that are going to be seeing your ad or eyeballs. This information is gathered from a series of boxes, and there's a couple of thousand, there's only several thousand in the country, and they're placed in specific regions, so you get a very good snapshot of everyone in the country, different demographics, ages, and around a grid. But you think about, say a couple of thousand boxes getting all this data, that's multiplied out, for our population, which is, you look at the numbers and the volume of scale of that, and it's quite staggering to think that yes, there's an indication, and it's an indication of what's occurring, but some boxes being switched off or changing channels can actually influence the numbers so much because of the percentages. So what this really means is when you're buying media, looking at the audience and the reach and the delivery, or TARPs if you're used to buying TARPs, is an indication of what's going to happen, and it's usually an indication of this time last year or the last 4 weeks. So if you're making all your decisions on that and that alone, you're setting yourself up for trouble. It's how media has been purchased for the last couple of decades, or since we've had these metrics in place, and it's great because then you had some metrics to buy media. But what we have now is we've got metrics in place where we can measure when a spot goes live on a particular network and a particular time of day, how many people take action. So we could say on this particular network at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, we get a $2 cost per click. So we're paying $2 to get a user to your website on this particular program. Then another time of day, which could be Friday night, for example, at 7 p.m., we're getting a $500 cost per click. But the audience is the same. The cost per thousand or the cost per TARP is exactly the same. So when you look at a media plan, if that's what you're buying on, you don't know that, hey, this spot delivers me a $2 cost per click, and hey, this spot delivers me a $500 cost per click. So buy on what's transpiring to results. That's why it's so important to have metrics in place, because you can buy a whole lot of $2 cost per clicks, or you can buy a handful of $500 cost per clicks before you run out of your budget. So having metrics, trust your own numbers rather than buying the audience numbers. So we've got many clients now that they actually have some times a day and programs that if you look at it on the plan, you'd never buy because the cost per thousands are so high. But when you run the data and you look at it and you're like, wow, on paper, using this box technology, it's a poor investment because the audience, I'm not reaching anywhere near the audience, and I could buy a lot more of these spots. When you look at the impact it's actually had, you're like, I want to buy so much of this environment because the cost efficiencies from a cost per impact or a cost per click metric are ridiculous in comparison to some other spots where it's technically cheaper using the measurement system of the boxes. So anyway, if you need help or any assistance with getting these metrics, we'd love to help. We're literally changing the faces of many businesses in this country, in New Zealand as well. We're very much expanding very quickly because this type of metrics is really vital, especially if you're a TV advertiser or a radio advertiser. So thank you so much for tuning in to Rowley's Rants, and I hope you found this valuable, and I look forward to chatting with you in the near future. Thank you.